Now, are you asking? Are we serving hot cocoa and caroling?
Yeah.
Maybe maybe that's effective. Let's try.
Christmas with the Cranks. All those carolers showing up at the door. They're hiding behind the couch. Hello and welcome to episode 47 of the Life Insurance Academy podcast. I'm your host, Austin Lopes-Silvero, and I'm joined by my co-host today, Chris Ball, Zach McElwain, and Roger Schwartz. The LIA podcast takes you into the conversations of top producing life insurance agents so that you can level up your business. For episode notes and resources, and to be the first to know about new shows and announcements and specials like we had last week, visit liapodcast.org/subscribe and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Life Insure Acad. All right, so we're in this halfway kind of weird transition between Thanksgiving, between Christmas, and a lot of people are kind of winding down for the holidays, or agents are wondering, hey, with families getting together or people out Christmas shopping, can I still sell over the holidays? Is this still a viable part of this business for me to get out there and work?
I generally do my best sales during December.
Really?
And it's because I go into the mall and try to sell to people who are buying.
Oh, no.
I'm just kidding. That's not true.
You're going where the buyers are.
That's it.
They're ready to buy.
I want to be where the people are, man.
I want to be where the people are.
But the one thing is, seriously, I think it is a great time to be out and seeing people. I think generally at this time of year, during the week, people are usually home.
That is very true. I think it's really funny time of the year because you say a lot of people, you kind of cruise into the holidays between this little lull, I guess you could say.
From a client side or agents?
Agent side.
Agent side, yeah, for sure.
And but the funny thing is I think it's exact opposite for some people. I feel like you just nobody stands in the middle during this period. You either slide one way or the other because you have producers that have a lot of ambition, that have a lot of Christmas presents, that really want to give back, and they know, hey, might be my last few times of the year to solidify this carrier trip, solidify a trip with the agency I'm with.
That's a good point.
To finish my numbers really strong for the month. I have goals I'm running for. The really ambitious people that are trying to finish strong and hit that milestone. And then you have others that are kind of started the year off like I'll get rolling here in February, March, and then I'll get rolling after
They just skipped right over January, didn't they?
It didn't even exist anymore.
No, I'm saying in the past, right?
Right.
And then through the summer, we still got some COVID, and then I'll go run hard, and then October, and then it's Thanksgiving, and next year will be a good year. You always seem to have those people that kind of is always going to happen, like Roger and his Christmas lights. It just keeps getting pushed off, right? So it's really interesting. You have producers that produce nothing, and you have ones that have record weeks at this time of the year.
Well, on a episode that we just did, we talk about how this is such a great opportunity because when you need to drive for that extra cash for presents or
drive for the cash,
this opportunity allows for that. There are plenty of people to see, and you can put your foot down to go see those people. Zach, you did mention something that people are home right now, but like I know some agents are like, no, they're out shopping. Why do you think people are home, or what have you seen when you're out in the field of why people are home?
Well, I might be the wrong one to ask this question because I think differently than I think a lot of most people. They're home if you want them to be home.
Oh,
and
it's like a mindset.
You're exactly right. They live
what
there.
What the heck
Austin.
does that mean?
No,
it means they live there. So they start their day there and they finish their day there. Yes, at this time of the year, they may fill that noon to 4-ish time with shopping or picking up those gift items or getting their oil changes, whatever they decide
running errands,
to do.
Yeah.
But they still start and finish at the same location generally.
Generally.
So you like
this year particularly.
Yeah.
So to me, I don't ever think it's different to hit your numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You might have different obstacles with different times of the year. Like it might get darker earlier. It might be a little colder. There might be ice in the driveway. You might have to walk a little gingerly. There's different things you need to do.
I do an army crawl.
Well, you do that in the summer. So that's no different.
Try to stay
there.
in shape.
It's working. It's working. But what I'm saying is you may have to make a little bit of different plan, just like we do with COVID. You know, we have to wear masks. We have to take extra precautions. We have, you know, hand sanitizers everywhere. You know, it's just one of those things. But, you know, if you think you're going to do the same activity, to start the day the same, knock the same number of times, which sometimes people just knock on that door one time, and if you don't catch them home at that time, when you didn't call and set an appointment, like they never visit them again. So you just may have to shake up the bushes a little bit to see them. But yes, they are home, and yes, they're in the buying mood. And this is the best time of the year to sell because people are caring about their family. We just visited
that's a really good point.
Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is the one time of the year, especially in a tough year like this, where you're thankful for your loved ones. You have your family coming in. You miss each other. You see what's really important with them. And it's also the time where, you know, you reminisce the people that you've lost in your family, the people that you love that aren't able to share the holidays with you. And you start thinking about, oh, well, I really need to make sure that my loved ones will be taken care of. So it's really the best time of the year to see people. But the other side of that, it's some agents feel that it's the best time of the year to sit home and hang out with their family.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna come down to the agent and what they want out of this. So the simple answer is this a good time of the year to sell? And like you said, put your foot down on the gas to step up your income. And the simple answer is yes, 100%. You can make a lot of money during the season. Like Zach alluded to this, and so did you. I mean, we had COVID year this year. And who thought that a year when everybody's kind of like staying at home or been encouraged to stay at home, the shutdowns that have gone on, and agents are trying to navigate that, you know, shifting from an in-person to a phone or shifting from door knocking to appointment setting, and, you know, having to just navigate the changes that came with that. If a lot of people thought this is going to be harder, therefore it is harder. Other agents thought there's an opportunity here and I'm going to capitalize. It's the same way with thinking about Christmas. Like if you feel like people are going to be busy and they're not going to be available, they're probably going to be busy and not available, to Zach's point. If you feel like there is an opportunity, there is one.
I mean, we've had record people this year.
We've had record-setting years. Agents have had record-setting years this year because they decided to put the gas down and figure out a way to take advantage of the opportunity that exists. People are thinking about their families more. You know, during Thanksgiving here a week or two ago, sometime a lot of people didn't get together with some of their family members this time for the first year. They changed it up. You know, instead of the whole family coming together, you know, grandpa and grandma spent with just this one family and other brothers and sisters did this other thing, and they kind of limited, you know, their exposure to each other. So it felt different, but they were thinking about that. Like this is on the top of everyone's mind. So there's opportunity here. People are thinking about this. People are in the giving spirit, you know, so to speak. And it's up to you how you approach it, whether you're going to be successful or not.
Knowing that there is a great opportunity here, knowing that, you know, agents can sell over the holidays, what are some ways that they can be successful during this kind of holiday season to maximize, you know, their opportunity?
Well, there are going to be three things that we do talk about here today. We're highlights. This is our Sports Center highlight conversation. Yes.
Is that
you can cue the real music
for a guy who actually I like that better.
That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, for a guy who's never turned on ESPN.
Look, I was
pretty
very
impressive.
nervous that was like going to be like a 2020 intro or like a, you know, something like
you can do a side by side. You can do a side by side comparison with the real voice, with the real music right there, and see how it sounds.
But these three things, first is attitude. Exactly what, you know, Roger and Zach have alluded to is. I like how Zach says it though, because it sounds like it's magic.
It's a Jedi mind trick.
Yeah. Like if I want them to be home, they will be home.
These are the people you're looking for.
This is where you need to play your music right now.
We need
your
a
wise
shirt.
music.
These are the people that
You should play your wise music right
well,
now.
That'll take
literally.
me a minute. I don't know if we can cut away. Okay, Zach, go ahead and say.
Why did you pull that up so quick? He tapped one button and it was ready to play. Like the instrument is
So
tuned.
go ahead, Chris.
Okay,
Go
well,
ahead,
Zach
Chris.
needs to say his line.
No, you say.
No, you say it.
What was the line again? I need help.
If I want them to be home.
Okay. if I want them to be home, they will be home.
Oh my gosh.
So Chris has this music app that he plays when we get on flights and
I'm gonna get
planes and we
arrested now.
travel, and he makes these, innocuous, benign statements sound like wise by playing this music.
That's all you need.
What is that instrument?
Oh.
I don't even know
Dude,
what that is.
It's GarageBand.
What do you think he does when he closes his cells?
What is it? Is it the guitar? What is that?
That's
What
his
is that?
cool down
I don't
process.
know.
I don't
It's
know
a
either.
two-stringed instrument. I don't know what it
Our
is.
listeners are like, what the heck just happened?
What's happening on this podcast?
He sits in the home and he goes, wee, wee, wee. Why is that important to you, Miss Deborah?
Dude, honestly, that would work. That's a
Making
great
the
idea.
decision for your family is the most important thing you can do today.
Sometimes you make the decision, and sometimes the decision makes you.
There you go. Going back to that, attitude is the number one. It is the biggest thing that that you really need to look at as far as what's going to impact your results here during the holiday season. Henry Ford has got this famous quote. You guys, I've said it before, probably on the podcast in many trainings. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And it's all about your mindset. If you think something's too hard to do, you will not do it because you've already defeated yourself. If you think something is possible, your brain will figure out a way to make that happen.
Yeah.
And so you have to attack it like that, and you get out of it what you put in it. And so your mindset matters here. There's a story of a shoe salesman. He's a national shoe salesman, and they decided to open up some international markets, and they sent him to Africa, and he's in a remote country in Africa, and it's a place where it's open, like it's an emerging market, and he's over there, and after 2 months, he's given sales reports. After 2 months, he emails back with his resignation. And he said, "I'm resigning from this position. This is a bad idea. It was a bad initiative from the beginning. There's little to no opportunity here. Nobody here wears shoes." And so, interestingly, at the same time they sent him out, they hired another person, sent him to another part of the same country, in another region, working the same program. And he wrote back an email on the same day. And his email said, "Please send me support. We need 3 more reps. Nobody over here wears shoes." There's so much opportunity. So when it's all about how you view things and where the opportunity lies. So if you feel like you can make something of it, you will. And your attitude is going to determine that. There's probably a few things that you can do to get your attitude in line. Yeah. Listening to podcasts, reading good books, starting your day out right. There's some other things that you can probably do to
set some goals, like commit to them.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah, that's big time. The next thing that you want to pay attention to is your association, who you're spending time with. If you are building a sales career and your best friends are the best Fortnite players in the world, and they're trying to figure out
they're a little young, aren't they? If they're best Fortnite players.
I don't know, man.
No,
No.
Tim the Tap Man, he's killing it.
I don't even know what that
Who
means.
is that?
Tim the
I
Tap
have no
Man?
idea.
Big Fortnite guy.
Is he really?
Yeah, and he's like, he would, I don't know. He's
40.
I was gonna say like older 30s,
Yeah.
maybe 40s.
But whatever these hobbies are, and it can even roll into like how much time you're in your association that you're spending
he's
on
30.
Thank you.
My bad.
How much time you're spending in your association on like fantasy sports and things like that. Where what is the saying? It's you will be like the 5 people you hang around with the most.
Yeah.
Yeah. Growing up, my dad would always say, like, "Tell me who you hang out with, and I'll tell you who you are."
Yeah.
Like, that's, I don't know where he got that from, but he always said it was like a Spanish.
That's
proverb.
the
Spanish
association.
proverb.
That's this. I mean, it's all about association. Who is your support team? Who's your crew? Who's at home? Are they saying you need to stay home? Are they saying you don't need to go? It's dark out. Let's do this. Let's do that. I mean, if you're being influenced by all the other voices and needs, it was interesting, Zach. I talked to you when you had a week off vacation. I asked you how you were doing. He goes, "Man, I'm busy. I'm doing this. And then I'm going to my grandmother's. I'm doing this for her. And then I'm going here." I said, "You got a packed week." He said, "It's amazing how many requests you get when people think you have all the time in the world." And he said, "So that's when you do all that stuff."
Yeah, I'm a full-blown electrician now after that week.
And there's this interesting thing when we talk about association and being connected to people who are in this business who have goals and dreams and action steps to those goals. But you develop these relationships with what we call, running buddies. And a couple of things that happen. One, you encourage each other. But the thing that doesn't get talked about too much is you start to see a development of a competition.
The biggest example that we've had recently in our organization is our Christmas canned food drive.
Oh, yeah.
So we recently did a canned food drive a few months ago for actually one of our agents' clients. And, we just put it out there. But then for this canned food drive, we set a goal and then we started sharing people working towards that goal.
Yeah.
So there's like this difference of and also we've hit that goal. Like we've hit
we've blown through the ceiling on the thing,
goal of this canned food drive. And I think there's a lot of reasons to that success that come back to this association. We set a goal and we shared it with our whole team. It was very clear, hey, we're all running towards this number. And we set it high.
Yeah.
When we threw out a few numbers and then we're like, what if we tripled that number? And then we set that as a goal. And then we also shared the updates regularly. Hey, here's how I'm doing. Or, hey, I just put out this, number of cans. Or, hey, I just bought these cans. They'll be in the office, in a few days. People were seeing that activity. And the success of that canned food drive, as simple as it is, really comes down to association.
Yeah, it's really tough, man, to run hard for something by yourself.
Yeah.
Yes,
it is, and two parts to it. One, you don't have accountability, and you don't have communication. You don't, when I say two parts, it's accountability is two pieces to me. It's encouragement, and it's I say a pat on the back. Mm-hmm. Or a foot in the butt. It's one of those two things. And they're holding you accountable to, you're empowering somebody to hold you accountable to your goals, your vision, your dreams. But if you're doing it by yourself, man, it's tough to run hard sometimes.
You just need to gamify it. Regardless if you have one buddy out there with you or a whole team or organization, or one thing we do is we have the 13 days of Christmas, going on. To where we incentivize our people to just have a friendly competition of, and it could be different prizes, it could be different, things, most apps in the day, first app of the day, last app of the day, could be most production for the week, or whatever it could be, just to make it fun and mix things up instead of just being so dry all the time. And it's just you and you're lonesome sitting in the car, turning on LAA podcast and going to do a door knock. Have it fun and, mix it up a little bit, have some competition, just friendly where everybody wins. But it can spark that little flame in you that you had when you very first started to continue to push on and finish the year strong.
Zach's so right that you do need that association. You do need fun. I just had a conversation this morning with an agent that's connected to us here. His name's Michael, and Michael's been running hard, man. And we've seen Michael develop tremendously. So shout out to you, Michael, on today's podcast. We appreciate you, man, and respect what you're doing. Your production has been rising, and this year is going to be a record year for Michael in this business. And so he's taken what others would see as a lack of opportunity, and he's turned it into opportunity for him. And he's actually leading on one of the carriers that we work with. He's leading on their leaderboard for an incentive that they got going on right now. His name's at the top. And
in the nation.
In the nation, yes.
Yeah.
And I asked him, did you call and confirm that that's you? Because they just put first name and last initial, and your first letter of your last name. So I said, did you call and confirm? He goes, how many other Michaels could there be? How many other Michaels? Are you kidding me? And he just texted me while we were doing this podcast, and he said, it's me. I just confirmed
That's
everything.
awesome.
And so my encouragement was now drop the hammer down and increase the gap. Do not let anyone get close to you. And that's gamifying that, Zach. So that insurance company took advantage of an opportunity. They've got their top producers running for something.
Forster's has one as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many out there that are going on right now, but organizationally, like, we celebrate those things. So it's so important for you to be a part of an organization that gives you that association support. It gives you opportunities to develop running buddies, a team, an accountability partner. So you just don't need a cheerleader at times like this. Like, you also need an accountability partner. An accountability partner is not always going to say, "Great job.
Yeah.
Well, just go, no problem. Go on home. Just figure it out tomorrow." Accountability partner is going to be like, "Are you serious about getting what you said you wanted to do? Well, suck it up and go do it."
Yep.
I'm going to do it. Are you going to do it? Or are you letting me down? Like, that's an accountability partner. And if you don't have one of those in your life or in your business, like, get one. And if you want to know where to get one, reach out to us and we'll connect you.
Yep.
And then you all know my next question is,
Yeah.
all right, let's get tactical. I want to know.
You're all
what
about the
is that?
tactics.
You want to know
am.
how to make the sausage,
Yes.
right?
Chris
Or the
always
hummus,
got this grinder
or
motion
the hummus,
going on.
or
The sausage, but nobody
He's
can
always
see
got
it.
this grinder motion
we
going
cook
on
it.
where he's pushing sausage down into a grinder and he's actually manually
or
grinding it.
chickpeas if you're
Yeah, if you're a vegan.
Or hummus.
or hummus.
Man, where are we? This is
Dude, hummus. They have pumpkin pie hummus
No,
now.
no.
And chocolate hummus.
They don't.
It's like
They don't.
dessert hummus. It's a thing.
They
It's
don't.
delicious.
no, that's
All right.
not.
Tactical.
How's the venison
applications.
sausage at your house right now, Chris? The venison sausage, is it good?
Oh,
Roger,
dude.
that's painful.
Yeah.
And lastly is activity. Is activity.
The slight burn there. I just caught it because like my brother got a deer. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man, ours is delicious.
I
I'm
bet
like,
it
Chris,
is.
how's yours? And then that was a burn of Roger saying, Chris, you didn't get.
Hold on,
a deer."
hold on.
Nothing.
Here we go. Never put, or hold on, I gotta go over again. Never look into another man's bowl unless you're planning on putting something in it.
I don't even know what that means. All right.
Oh my God.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, LIA audience.
He let the deers walk by because he didn't need it, is what he's
That's
saying.
right.
Because he worked through the holidays and made plenty
Yep.
of money, and his fridge is full.
Thank you.
guys.
His
You're
fridge
ready.
is full. I will say that.
So activity, that's the last piece here.
The last A of the three
The
A's.
last A. So we have association. What was the
Attitude. Association. And now activity.
And now activity. And we'll let Zach do that one. He's the king of
You
activity.
can kick us off.
I kick you off. That's fine. So sorry, guys. Austin had to leave. No, I'm just kidding. Activity. I mean, that's just putting your money where your mouth is. I mean, you can talk the talk, walk the walk. You can have the best attitude in the world. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. But at the end of the day, you got to put your Christmas lights up. You know, you got to put the snow out there, ladder on the roof, whatever you need. Clark Griswold didn't slow down. Neither should you. So, at this point, man, you're looking at any and every opportunity. Like I said, it may be your one door knock for that lead may not work. You may have to do things slightly different. You may have to take all the older leads you've had from the previous week and call and set appointments to front load your week on some additional opportunities.
When you say front load, can you like walk us through like that process and how you do that?
The one thing I will say that I see is because of the nighttime hours. Okay, like it gets darker early.
I feel like it's dark right now and it's 11 a.m.
I know, it feels very strange. And every year it's surprising, isn't it? It's just weird. But because it gets darker a little earlier, people become a little apprehensive to visit people. Okay, and so then their leads start to pile up over a period of time. And they're like, these are people I couldn't get a hold of for whatever reason. So you could have how many leads piled up?
A ton.
Hundreds.
A ton.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, it's dark. I don't want to bother them when it's dark.
So
it's like,
if
well,
you have
it's
that,
dark at
if
5.
you have that stack, you should have resources. You should have lead resources available to you. So how would you front load that?
And what does that mean?
My week is going to start on the weekend prior. Okay, so I'm going to take those opportunities from the previous weeks where maybe I was lazy or I was sick or I didn't have time or whatever opportunities, and I'm going to maybe call and walk right through a script and try to set an appointment. I'm not trying to get a sell. I'm not trying to sit with the family. I'm just trying to set an expectation that I'm going to be stopping by at this time. So I'm going to try to get as many of those as I can. as well as taking the leads I have that maybe I didn't get a hold of or my new batch of leads this week, and I'm going to knock on those doors. Now, just what Chris said, I want to make sure I do that and get out as early as I can. Yeah, in the summertime when it's sunny from 7 a.m. to 9:30 at night, you can get away with being a little lazy and showing up to the market a little late, if you're good enough to be lazy. But like, you need to be at your first door in the winter, probably 9:30, like as early as you possibly can. And it does two things. Chris said, yeah, the client may be a little apprehensive if you're showing up with just headlights and they can't see you at all and they just hear a door knock and you're in the country. The other side of that is the agent don't know what door to knock on because they can't see any house numbers anywhere. So there's two sides of that. So by getting out early, setting appointments, and when you do set those for the evening hours, right? When it's dark, so you can fill up that space so you're not just dead from 5 to 9, right? Yeah. Set your appointments for those times so you have your daylight to knock. Now, in addition to that, let's say you don't fill all those times, you start knocking early. It does two things. One, it identifies where the home is for you. So if you are knocking and it's starting to be dusk and you can't see as well, you know exactly where the home is, okay? For two, you're leaving a beautiful yellow piece of paper called a delivery notice. I call it setting traps, okay? So you're trying to figure out when they're going to be around, right? When you get that phone call or you know where they're at. But let's say they don't call you back. Even if you swing back by near the evening and you knock on that door, it allows you to, basically gives you permission to knock late. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. I tried to stop and see you earlier. I know it's dark now, but I'm actually the one that left this delivery notice. I just need to get your stuff. I'm blah, 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 and go through my little thing at the door. But people aren't as abrasive at the door when they know you made an attempt during the day.
Yeah, they're not as startled that you're showing up, even if it's after dark, because they're like, oh, you're the one who left this.
Exactly. Yeah. And another thing that I utilize all the time, even in the summer, is if I'm doing that and I'm leaving the delivery notice, and this is maybe the second day or third day, and maybe the notice is still on the door or whatever the case may be, I haven't got a hold of them, I'm not going to turn my activity down and start driving home. I'm going to turn my activity up. I'm actually going to pull out what I use as called a driveway calling script, where I actually pull into the driveway, do a door knock, not there, make a phone call off my script. But it's a little different for me personally when I'm going through this and saying, I think I'm actually in your driveway, blah, blah, blah. People, it's harder for them to hang up on you or tell you no, they're not interested when you're sitting in their driveway. They typically will tell you, oh, well, I'm on my way home now, or no, I'm at work now. I'm sorry, I'm not there. I will be there at this time. And so they already know you're made a delivery attempt.
It's like a secret weapon call, man. That works so well.
It's unbelievable. And when you're in the driveway, it's gold. So I use that as well. So I'm calling to preset appointments before the week begins. I'm getting out early. I'm door knocking all day long. Any appointments that I am able to set, I'm setting them for the dark hours in the evening. I'm leaving delivery notices, so even if I don't have appointments in the dark hours, I'm going back to knock on those doors because I know where the house is, and B, I want to apologize. I'm actually the one that tried to come earlier, and I left this delivery notice on the door. In addition, I'm calling from the driveway.
Yeah, the episode, we actually kind of talked about this driveway call. That was in episode 11. So after this podcast, definitely go back and listen to that one.
One quick note, when you do this stuff, you have to work very smart. Like you have to think of, work towards the end in mind. And your logistics might have to adapt. So an example would be, let's say, Zach, you have leads in a county that are coming in, but your previous leads are in a different county. So if I'm going to front load, then it might look a little different. So what I will do is I will set aside maybe 6 hours over the weekend, maybe 6 to 8 hours over the weekend, where I'm calling through these leads, and I'm going to just book the first 2 days or 2 or 3 days, if it's possible, with appointments, and then move on to my next county. That way I'm not driving back and forth. Like I don't want to be in one county that's 40 minutes away, and then, man, I've got these appointments in the evening and then jet over to the other side. But if I can bookend, like start filling in the evening down, or the evenings or the mornings. I'll do that, and I'm not afraid of overbooking. Like I'm okay with setting up 10 appointments on a Monday. It builds momentum. I mean, it shows that I'm busy. I've got a lot of people to see.
Airlines do this all the time. Have you ever been at the gate and they're saying, hey, we're overbooked, and if you want to free. Airlines do it all the time because they're concerned about them being profitable and maximizing every opportunity. And they can reschedule or even offer a benefit to somebody who doesn't want to take advantage of that. So if you're in a home writing an application and you have another appointment, don't stress out about the next one. Yeah. Like you're writing one with the family you're with. Help them first. Maximize every opportunity there, referrals, their kids, grandkids policies. Like there's lots of things you can do. And then you can always call the person saying, listen, I am so sorry. I know I scheduled this time with you. I'm finishing up with a family over here. I'm not too far away from you. I'm going to head your way when I'm done. Is that okay? Yes. Okay, great. No, it's not okay. We'll be home tomorrow. Okay, let me go ahead and get that rescheduled. Like you're now in control of your time. Some people, Chris, I've seen this happen so many times. Like I can only book 5 because I have to allow for 20 minutes drive time between each one of them, and they've literally got 5 appointments scheduled for the day.
Yeah.
And then the 2 in the middle cancel, or you get porched, or you show up and the spouse is not home. Like your day is blown at that point.
You're done.
Yeah. So like you can fill it full. If you're doing phone appointments or Zoom appointments and you're not doing face-to-face, like this doesn't matter as much, right? Understanding your logistics of where you've got to be next. And so you can actually schedule them tighter on a phone call than you can if you're even in person. But that 6 to 8 hours over the weekend, that's gold. When I first started in the business, I was taking my Saturday mornings, and prime time for me was like 8:30 to 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning before people kind of got up and got out doing their stuff. Like Zach said, they're out of the house between like 12 or 1 to 5. But that morning time right there, you could catch so many people at home. And then Sunday evenings were great. Most people are home Sunday evenings after 5. So you can catch a lot of people to set up your appointments. And if you utilize those times and use that bookend method that we just talked about for scheduling appointments, that's where you're scheduling them either early to start your day or in the evenings so that you take advantage of the dark hours, the evening hours when typically you can't just show up and knock on someone's door. Now you give yourself that primetime window in the middle where you can actually still see people. So whether you're door knocking or whether you're doing phone sales or Zoom appointments, in person, whatever, just keep those things in mind. But bookend those appointments top to bottom and fill in towards the middle. It's a strategy that works. Most agents don't even think about that because they're just happy to get an appointment. When the person says, yeah, 2 o'clock would be good, and you say, sure, and then that one no-shows or the wife's not there, like it blows your whole day. So you're finishing up with one at 4:30, and then you don't have anything after that, and it's dark at 5. It just becomes challenging. So you're losing so many hours, but that strategy really works.
Chris, I will caution you on one thing. You mentioned, because I think a lot of people can really connect with having leads, especially if they're leftover leads in different counties and different areas.
Yeah.
The one thing that you absolutely do not want to do is have paralysis by analysis, overthinking it.
Oh, yeah, no
Not
kidding.
sure, should I go here, should I go there? And what you end up doing is sitting in your car or sitting at the hotel or end up not going anywhere. And I think that happens more than people have the solution.
Here's the solution to if you find yourself in the field, but you're sitting in your car, not moving. I mean, that's like a flat tire, right? What do? You call AAA. Well, here's your AAA, Attitude, Activity, and Association.
There you go. I like it.
Look at him. Look at him.
Look what you
This
did
is
there.
AAA. Get
This
moving.
your AAA
Get
card.
activity,
Get your
associate
AAA
with
card.
someone, check your attitude, and get going.
When in doubt,
We have premium
if you're not
subscriptions,
good at
by the way, to
being
that.
efficient, when in doubt, go to both counties.
Yeah.
I mean, the answer is always the activity. It's never, I don't want to do this, don't want to waste it. The moment you're trying to prevent you from wasting your time is when you're on the downward slide to failure.
One thing I do want to address, though, on this idea of activity, Zach, is let's say they don't have appointments booked for when it starts getting dark. Can they still work when it's dark? And what does that look like? How should they approach that?
First, why don't they have appointments booked? Right? I mean, that goes back.
That's the answer.
It goes back to the activity side. Do you have leads? Have you seen those people? Then you should do that. You should do that.
So it's like when agents call us and say, how do I overcome these objections at the end? Like we just did a training session here in the office last week with a group of agents that works with one of our teams, and we were talking about objections that they're getting at the end. And the sales manager was saying, "Can you help them overcome these objections?" I said, well, you're not going to get those objections if you handle them early. If you handle them up front and address them, they don't come up at the end. So the reason, Austin, why an agent would not have an appointment set in the evening or somewhere to go after dark, especially if they're in the field or if they're door knocking, if that's their approach to selling, is because they didn't do any pre-work in the morning to find people not home and leave a delivery notice. They didn't do the pre-work on the weekend to set up the evening appointments. They didn't do those things, and now they find themselves 5 o'clock with nowhere to go, and they're like, should I go knock on these? Should I go visit people? It's going to be awkward.
Let's say they're listening to this podcast for the first time.
Yeah.
Right? They had planned to work today. They're actually on the way to the field right now. At 5 o'clock today, when it gets dark, what can they do instead of heading home to make the most of prime time? I mean, prime time is when it's dark.
So
now.
we'll assume that they've already gone through their leads and they've knocked already. Like as they're approaching 5, they should have, or they've had sits, one or the other.
Okay.
So they know where the homes are, right? We'll assume that they've used delivery notices. We'll make those assumptions too. But for me, I don't know about you guys. I was a primetime rider. Like I was known for getting an app in my last sit. And I was pretty comfortable knocking until 8 o'clock. I just was. I was the friendly guy who was always lost,
The goofy,
so
friendly
that's
your
guy.
strategy. I mean,
That was my thing.
Did
right?
you have a role in that show?
What
Lost? You were one of those guys in there. I
he was
swear
a polar
it was
bear.
you.
Oh, no. So, no.
Polar bear.
Yeah, I was the polar bear. No, but that was my thing. I felt it didn't feel comfortable at 7:30 or 8, but it got comfortable because I was willing to do it. And I seldom had any issues with it.
Yeah,
I've got a tip. I've got a tip on that.
I had rules for that.
Okay.
Like I would avoid. I was looking for couples or men. That's what I was looking for in those primetime hours. Just because I felt like if I'm getting there about 7:30 to 8, single woman may not feel as comfortable. So those were my
definitely the radar and the wall is going to be up for sure.
Yeah.
If their kids found out who's this stranger knocking on my mom's door,
yeah.
It's just you have to think about what's appropriate also at the same time. So, but here's a strategy that I implemented that I absolutely loved and it worked great. And so here's a 1999 secret. This one's going to Austin. So this one you can set up your own Venmo here. You can put the information.
How old were you? Oh, 1999. I thought it was like an old school trick.
$19.
I forgot about
99 cents. You forgot about the 1999 specials?
Yes,
this
I
is
did.
one of those. Okay,
great.
So if you're running through your leads and let's say you had an appointment set and you had a cancellation, because I'm going to say that was probably the situation that I was running into, and that one canceled on you, you have other leads in the area. And you may have knocked them before or called them before and you just haven't been able to reach them. You're doing the driveway call, like Zach said. That doesn't work. You still have some other people that you can go and try to get. I would go to the door and I would knock on the door. And when they would come out, I would say, I'd step back, with a big step back. And I'd have my hands up and I'd say, hi, are you Mr. Chris? Thank you so much, Mr. Chris. I'm so glad I caught you at home. I don't mean to startle you after dark, some stranger walking up to your door. However, I came by here earlier and you had requested some information. I don't know if you saw the notice that I left or even if you didn't leave one. I came by earlier and I couldn't catch you. And I was going to be out of your area tomorrow and I want to try to make sure I got your information before I left the area. So I apologize about coming after dark. But if it's okay, I'm going to go grab your information in the car for you now real quick so I can get you taken care of before I wrap up my day. And it was like apologizing up front for startling them. And it kind of disarmed them. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh, they're acknowledging that this is kind of like, it's dark. What are you doing at my house? Who are you? You're a stranger. You're kind of identifying yourself really quickly and saying, I'm making you my last stop. I was by earlier. I want to take care of you so that I could get you done before I go to another area tomorrow and take care of some other families. And it gave people, it relaxed them. You see the wall going down. They were like, oh, okay. And then you can have a conversation.
Zach, did you have a strategy? I know. So Chris was the lost guy. Roger's apologizing. Did you have?
I was the Swiss Army knife, man. I did do all of it.
Yeah.
Do all of it. And in addition to that, you can call. you can call and let them know, hey, I just want to let you know, I know it's getting dark, but my name is, Zach McAway, and I'm with blah, blah, and I go through the thing. And I just wanted to give you a heads up. I got a few more stops I need to hit, and you were on my list, but also it's getting dark, so I didn't want to alarm you as I stopped in. But if you see headlights, it's just me, and I'll get you taken care of.
Again, that's a call ad, but maybe not from their driveway. It may be from the Thorntons or the Circle K or the Shell gas station down the street, and you're just stopping to get efficient. You're just trying to find someone who answers the phone at this point.
Yeah, no, that's after it's been dark, and I haven't necessarily been to the house, because obviously I'm going to use one of those other strategies beforehand. But even in that situation, let's say I'm brand new, I'm in the car, it's 4:30, I've sat in my car and looked at Facebook all day long, and I haven't knocked on any of these leads, and I don't have much opportunity.
That's not these listeners.
No, it's not, but they may know somebody. They may be managing a few agents, and their few agents do this. But I can do that, and I can be the lost guy calling ahead as well. And it's getting dark, it's late, it's kind of hard to see these mailbox numbers, but you, Miss Jones, are one of the few people I need to see to get you taken off my list and finish up my night. And I know, I think I'm on Old Town Road here, and is yours the one with the big silo?
Horse?
Yeah. Is yours with the big Noel sign up in the roof that has the N missing?
Thanks.
In Noel? Is that your house?
Yes. Mr. Billy Ray, are you there?
I do want, so like we talked about the tactical and the sales. Are there like any other like kind of tricks that you all do when it's like getting cold? I mean, like we're losing daylight, but it's also getting cold. Are you bringing any Christmas cheer? I mean, like
at the end of the day, Austin, you have to remember who we're serving, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, our clients are typically older. Mm-hmm. They're typically on a few medications. They're probably not feeling amazing every day. A lot of their day-to-day life is routine, so they do the same things, watch the same shows. So we have to remember we have to be that bright spot in their life. We have to be that difference maker. We have to be that smile. We have to be somebody that they want to talk to that is different, that you are breaking their cycle, right? You have to bring that energy to the home. Absolutely.
Now, are you asking, are we serving hot cocoa and caroling?
Yeah.
Maybe that's effective. Let's try.
Christmas with the Cranks, all those carolers showing up at the door.
I'll tell you what I have done.
Behind the couch.
especially on Christmas week. One thing that I have done is I've got little $5 gift cards from a bunch of different little spots, little Subways or whatever in that area.
The little Subways.
The little
not the big ones.
No.
And not the footlongs, the 6 cents.
The one that only have like 4 booths in the front window. Like not the big ones. Yes. Not the ones that are attached to gas stations. But so you just get a few gift cards and you can just,
bless
a few families.
Cool.
And that is an amazing way to get a referral as well, actually.
Mm-hmm. Walmart gift cards, Target gift cards, make sure they're under the minimum, the maximum that you're allowed to contribute or to give so that you're compliant. But these are all great extra tactics that can work, that can get you in there. It comes down to you have to set some clear expectation and some action plans. So, and those action plans are gather all your leads together, put them all together. Every unretired lead, it does not matter how old those leads are. Put in that time on the weekend. Call through those cycles. Book into your appointments. Make the phone your friend. If you're a door knocker, this is going to feel a little awkward for you. Make the phone your friend. What's the worst thing that can happen? You still don't make a sale on the one that you haven't made a sale on? Like, that's the worst thing that can happen. If that's the worst thing that can happen, that's not going to kill you. It's going to teach you some things. So make the phone your friend. But you have to be creative to get a different result than you're doing now. And so if you front load your week, fill that time up, get creative, use some of these tactics, work your new appointments, work your new leads toward the end of your week, you're going to create momentum and energy in that direction of those clear expectations and action plans. So it's the fourth quarter, man. It's the fourth quarter. It's time to run. This is the December 16th. You've got 2 weeks to hit that carrier qualifier trip or your organization qualifier or the extra bonuses that are available, or for you to hit your fourth quarter numbers, or for you to hit your annual numbers. Like, people are doing amazing things in these next 2 weeks, and it's going to come down to how do you think about it? How are you approaching it? What's your strategy? So your attitude, your association, and your activity. Put those 3 in the bank. Put the foot down.
Awesome. Well, great job, guys. And thank you all so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, check out the show notes page. We're going to have a form there for you to fill out with your questions. As always, thanks so much for listening to the Life Insurance Academy podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to subscribe wherever you're listening, rate us 5 stars, and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Life Insure Acad. The Life Insurance Academy podcast is hosted, edited, and mixed by me, Austin Lopes-Silvero. This episode was produced by Chris Ball. Our theme song is by Flashing Lights. We'll catch you on another episode. Until then, stay safe and go be a difference maker.